every time I'm in my laboratory and I'm doing me, man, when that train comes by, it just seems like time stands still. You get blessed for a little while it's rolling by. The first thing that made me realize I was a performer was at Platte Ranch Elementary School out in Woodland Hills. They had some kind of talent show, and I was swinging my jacket and I swung it over my shoulder, and I ran down the aisle and slid on my knees. I guess that was my first spark of being an entertainer. As long as it's just you and me.
Welcome, everybody, to the Wednesday, April 14th Q&A. Debut director, Tisa Zito. Did I pronounce that properly?
Yes, you did.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. We just screened her fantastic documentary, ForeverMoore. Is it the ForeverMoore, the Angelo Project? Is that the full title? Okay, awesome. Following the frontman for the band Fishbone. Really excellent work. Fantastic job on that. There's no way, and I've seen a lot of these over the years. There's no way I would have known that you were a first-time director with this. It was very well shot, very well put together, cut, the whole production value. So congratulations on completing it.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be done.
That's also a good sign when hold on a second. I see we have somebody else here. I will invite him on stage. I know this young man. Okay. His name is Steven. Give technology a second.
Can you hear me okay? Because I'm talking through a Bose speaker. Does it work?
I can hear you well enough. Mr. Foster.
Hello, Gordon.
Stephen Foster.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can.
Hi.
This is so many roles. I will just say filmmaker at the moment, but you're primarily an actor, right? That's what you want to be known for. Is that correct, Stephen?
Well, I am a writer and an actor.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. And many hats.
And sometimes I direct. It just depends.
But you directed this. Fantastic. Stephen, this is Tisa. She is a New Yorker living in Utah. Were you able to watch your screening block? I was. Yeah. Okay. She is the fantastic director behind. Whoops, we just lost Stephen. Or did we? Or at least we lost him.
Did Stephen do?
He was behind Dream Vacation, the music video.
Okay.
Yeah, he and his husband was the one who was the singer-songwriter behind it. Let me see if... Okay, well, we lost Stephen for some reason for a moment. We'll see if he pops back. So we'll keep you as the star for the moment, Tisa. Just so you know, it sounds like we're getting some issue with feedback or echo. So that usually means that the microphone is picking up the speaker.
So I just switched over to the internal speakers. Was that a mistake?
I think so.
Okay, let me go back. I thought it would be helpful. All right, better?
Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely, more tempered, rough one. Yep, that's it. I don't hear an echo. That took a while to figure out. On one of our earlier panels, I didn't know that was the case, and we went through at least half an hour where everybody had a 2-second delay in their comments. It was a little maddening. But anyway, we're good. We're back, and we'll wait for Stephen to reappear. So Tisa, again, fantastic documentary. Thank you so much for submitting it to the Nova Fest. So many questions. Let me throw out an opening general question. In shooting the in your overall view when you started shooting, was there a message theme that you wanted to in terms, it's a documentary, but in terms of the story, what did you want the audience to walk away with primarily? It's very, keep it very open.
So when I met Angelo, I've said this before in like interviews, the first question that popped into my head was, why does he do this? Why does he go up on stage and really like just give it his all? I mean, at the end of a show, he's completely drained. I just find that interesting as to why artists do what they do. Is it for notoriety? Is it like, are they just compelled? A lot of it's a personality quirk where we have all these ideas and we have to get them out. So I wanted to explore that. That was the main question. I didn't really know exactly what I was going to get with him. I had questions, of course, that I asked him, but he really loves to talk and he's very open. So I just kind of let him go and kind of shaped it after that.
Okay. Well, what would you say the answer to that question? What does drive him? It's just something in his DNA or something developed over time. He does. After watching the documentary again, he doesn't strike me someone who's seeking superstardom and wealth beyond imagination.
No, I think it's he has all these ideas that just pop into his head, and we're kind of similar in some ways. Like we're always going. We don't really sit still very long. It's something I'm personally trying to work on, but he's just constantly has got things that he wants to do. So you could literally be talking to him, and then he'll like kind of cut in and go, "Oh, I got an idea," you know. And so the answer to it is just the way his head works. I think it's always been that way since he was a kid.
So basically, it's kind of like the foundation of a creative, just an extremely creative mind. It's just lightning is just constantly striking, and no, I don't know about constantly, but when it does, there is no filter. You just got to let it fly. Is that kind of close?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah.
Again, it was so well shot for a documentary. I'll go. This isn't my expertise per se, but I know there are people who are going to wonder. Anytime you cover any kind of band situation, on the fly, and it's run and gun. You're having to deal with a lot of really low light environments. I know there are going to be some technical DP people out there asking how you dealt with that in terms of lighting, or even specifically what camera you used.
So throughout the film, I used 3 different cameras. What did I use? The Sony FS5, the FS7, and then I used my Canon 5D Mark II, and then through the concert, the actual Fishbone show, I had a couple people covering that at different angles. The main shot was the FS7, which was me. And I think I had a couple people on like Ronins, and I don't know if they were off the top of my head. I don't recall what they had, but they were DSLRs.
Are you coming from a technical camera background? What's your major expertise as you came in?
I'm a digital film producer at Dixon State University, so I teach film production, the history of film, and the business of small film. So, I mean, I basically was able to use whatever cameras that they allowed me to use for the most part. So.
Okay, well, I mean, it's in some cases.
It's not my favorite stuff. Go ahead.
Oh no, just saying where again we get all different stripes and colors in terms of people's background and what at least initially put them into the industry. Stephen keeps popping in and out here. where he's primarily, I know he comes in as an actor and then all of a sudden branches out into writer, director, etc. Some people, I mean, in a abstract way, not about me, but I came in more as I want to be an editor, but then that just exploded into pretty much every other role. Yeah, so just curious, like how you were coming in terms of if you were like just a big camera head and you fall in love every time a new lens gets put out
No,
by B&H Photo.
no, I actually started just in my basement with a camcorder when I was like 7 with my brother,
Nice.
and I did a little acting, and I still do, we just made movies all the time, and then I started to take photos. So it was actually photography that I originally went for, and then that merged into photojournalism, which merged into documentary. And I've never been a camera like really obsessed with the gear, but I know
Right.
if you learn how to work the correct gear, you can your film can go from like here to here. So that's what I tried to do.
Sounds very Robert Rodriguez. Just sort of playing around as a kid with story ideas and learning how to cut. Did you edit this one, by the way?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Did you have a formal editor? Again, fantastic job.
Thank you.
No, it's I tend to gravitate towards post production, so I had an extra eye on that. In terms of documentaries, their uniqueness opposed to like a feature, in my opinion, is obviously with a feature you've got a screenplay, you have a script, you try to follow it the best you can as an editor with notes, but then some organic discovery happens on set, and you keep things that weren't necessarily screenplay. But with a documentary, except for a formal outline, it's kind of a free for all as far as you don't know what could happen. There could be a bunch of, and tell me if I'm wrong, but there could be just a bunch of moments there's no way you could have predicted, but is gold in the final cut.
Yeah.
Did this in shooting this, did it kind of go along as planned, or if you could share, were there any or is there anything like, wow, I didn't see that coming, this is awesome, or I'm definitely not going to put this in the final cut, or all the above?
Yeah, I mean, so when I drove from Utah to LA a couple times by myself, I packed the car full of gear and just went to go meet Angelo. The first shoot it was like 5 or 6 days I spent with him just filming him. It was, exhausting because it was like I wanted to get every little thing that I could, and I had all these ideas. We had Angelo lives in a very small space, so it was very difficult it was very challenging to figure out how to film it, and then at the same time I wanted that to come across, that kind of like at times claustrophobic feeling that you get in there because it's just jammed with instruments and stuff. Um, there were Working with Angelo is always, anybody will tell you it is like you just kind of have to go with the flow because sometimes he's supposed to be somewhere that he says he's going to be, and then he's really 2 hours behind, and he's in Venice Beach passing out flyers for a show that starts in a half an hour. You know what I mean? So we had a couple of those instances where I just was like, Angelo, you're supposed to be here. We're supposed to film this, and so in that sense, it didn't go as planned a lot of times, but I think the stuff where he's doing his spoken word, like on the escalator, that day we had spent, that was like our third or fourth day together, and we were kind of in the groove, and he just started like, doing his spoken word right to the camera, and I just felt like in that moment, that was the gold, and I kind of knew it when it was happening. Oh, there he goes again. Um, and so that's my favorite part of the film, actually.
Were you a crew of one, or how many people did you have with you for all of this? I have to know.
A crew of one. The only time I had help was at the Fishbone show, which I didn't even almost know about. He called me like he let me know like the week before and said, "Oh, we're gonna be in your neighborhood," and I was like, "What?" I was like, "You gotta let me know. I gotta get you." So I met him there, and I got a couple students to help me shoot that, which made it so much easier because I was at that point like exhausted. So
You know what? I can appreciate that to actually a huge degree. I taught, and again, I'm really, I do my best to make it not a part about me, but just sharing histories. I taught film for a while at Boston University myself, and trust me, plenty of times students were volunteering to be on some of my sets, if not in front of the camera sometimes. And it just a warm body that's competent enough makes an incredible amount of difference, even if it's just hauling some of the gear. But that's fantastic that you had that ability, because the sound was spectacular. It was clean. It wasn't an issue, which is what you want.
right.
That should always be a default. But beyond that, I can't recall watching your film and thinking, especially in your confinement. I mean, there were times when there's some ambient background because it's you're on stage, but for the most part, the audio was very. Did you have him mic'd up, or were you on a boom mic, or just right off the camera?
I had him for the most part on what like mic'd up with a wireless, and then there was times when we were stationary in his home where I had a boom, which that was the best obviously. And the only time the sound wasn't really up to snuff in my opinion, which is when I put subtitles, is when we were literally just passing by someone on the street and they engaged with us and I didn't have him mic'd, and so I like immediately just started filming him because he was like engaging. And then when we had one of the student was filming on like a Ronin, he didn't have a real good mic on the camera, but that was it. That was the only time when I felt like the audio kind of dipped. But I did some cleaning up.
Okay, let me slide into. Well, again, the sound was fantastic. For anybody walking off the street who just likes watching films and going to movies, that's probably not the most exciting commentary. But anybody on a production set knows that sound is number one. So I just want to make a point of that. More personal. Did you discover something about yourself after the end of this on personal and professional fronts? Like, wow, I didn't know I had the ability to produce something this awesome, or wow, this was tougher than I thought, or wow, I'm glad it's over, which you kind of said, you alluded to earlier.
Those things. I think I set out.
Oh my gosh.
I think I set out saying like, oh, I can do this because I know I can do all of the parts. Like I've done all those things before, and so I work with a lot of men, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do this whole thing, and I don't really like to ask for help, and I think I've learned that sometimes you need to be able to ask for help because otherwise you will maybe shorten your life a little bit with stress. I mean, I think you could probably relate to that because you're like everywhere at once, I feel like.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
So
not a clue. So maybe you can help teach me what you're talking about later.
Okay. But I can't say.
Go ahead.
It was just I am relieved that it's over because it's something that I've thought about constantly for 3 years, like whether it's the creative stuff or the money aspect, like editing it. I mean, I would be up at like 4 a.m, just like, so what should I change? I'm just the type of person that's always thinking, and it'd be nice. It's gonna be nice to put it to bed.
So you really think you're gonna just put it to bed, huh? Is that where your mind space is right now? That's so cute. I swear that's adorable.
I know.
It really is adorable. I'm intentionally. I'm intentionally condescending and being arrogant with you because of email conversations we've had prior, just because you're now entering the distribution world where you really have to roll up your sleeves.
I know that, but creatively, it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a different chapter.
No, I get it.
It's like there's been 4 or 5 main chapters, and this I'm on the last chapter. I like to think.
Yep. Yeah. So hopefully, I'm teasing you because you've got an adventure. You've got quite an adventure in front of you. That's for sure. You're halfway there, just so you know. But I'm really gonna enjoy you watching. I hope you still have the passion in for you with you for more projects. And obviously this one still. I'm going to enjoy watching you move forward and seeing what you achieve and accomplish. That's going to be awesome. Stephen, by chance, I'm so scared to bring you. Well, I don't get scared, but I am so concerned to bring you on board here because I'm afraid you're going to blip out on us again. Did you have any thoughts or questions you wanted to share with Tisa? Because we will cover your work as well. You have to unmute yourself, by the way. There you go.
What do you mean? Do you have do I have a question or
comment or anything while you two are in the room? The idea is to be able to network and make connections. By the way, Tisa, Stephen has tons of connections in Hollywood. Just so you know, exchange information later. Hint, hint.
Okay.
Hi. It was I enjoyed your movie. It was quite fascinating. It just that guy's had what a story.
Thank you. Yeah, he's an interesting guy. So hopefully that came across.
Yeah, it's so funny when you work on a project. You don't think that it's going to take over your life, but ultimately, these projects, they're like our babies. They take over our lives, whether we want them to or not, unfortunately. And I think Fernando knows all too well about things taking over your life.
Nah. Just you taking over my life, Stephen. Yeah, I had watching it the second, third, fourth time around, Tisa, and bringing you in, Stephen, because Stephen lives in Hollywood proper. And I forgot, again, I've watched a lot of films. I forgot that Los Angeles was essentially a character in your documentary as well, Tisa. In watching it, Stephen, I lived in LA for a few years, and I actually lived in Woodland Hills for a couple of those at least. So my Los Angeles was obviously different. I don't know about obviously, but it was different from his perspective, what Los Angeles is. In watching it, Stephen, you're in Hollywood, you're Los Angeles. Out of curiosity, because I guess it's even kind of current and trending, I don't want to get political, but did that seem like a side of Hollywood exists, or is it something you live or see every day, or is it totally foreign to you?
Well, to me, it was very much what I know as Hollywood, because I live right up above where a lot of her film was shot. So I recognize all those places, all those types of people, because I definitely do not live in Woodland Hills. I definitely live right above Hollywood Boulevard and can walk there in like less than 10 minutes. So I know all that. I know the Pep Boys that you guys shot in front of. I know all. So it was very interesting to me to know all those places. And Hollywood is just if you're not part of the royalty here, you're part of like the fringe or the subculture. And so I recognize that very strongly.
That's really interesting because, how would we categorize Angelo then? Would he be like the Prince King of the fringe? Because he just seems like he's right on the precipice of being one of a major player, I guess, in lack of a better term. There was a music documentary that played earlier today, royalty free, where the most downloaded and largest musician on the planet, McLeod, nobody knows him because he puts out all his music for free, and he just has thousands and thousands of pieces of work out there that are used in everything with the explosion of social media and people creating their own media now. He has films. I'm sorry. He has music that's highlighted in Scorsese films down to basic, just a kid, putting up their YouTube video, and he takes no money for it. It's all donations. So I don't know, a bit of a tangent, but I don't know. What's your prediction, Tisa? Do you think Angelo will, pierce that bubble into James Brown, Michael Jackson territory, or is his time going to be, later on in 50, 100 years kind of thing?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I really hope that he gets some sort of attention. That's kind of, ultimately what I hope he gets. Because I know when I asked if he'd be in the movie, he said to me, "I've been waiting for someone to make a movie about me, like, since I can remember, and now you're here, so like, let's do it." I think he deserves something. I mean, just if at the end you see all the people that he performed with, I mean, it's crazy. And a lot of people have been, inspiration from him that are really quite famous. So.
It's a wacky world, no guarantees. Just some unsolicited advice, Tisa, just be prepared for a lot of success after this for yourself, personally, professionally. And obviously, you have all my hopes, wishes, and any support I can provide that happens for you. Just again, some unsolicited other comments as far as when you get it out there and distribute it out to the world as well. Be prepared for a minimum of being married to this film and project for the next 8 years minimum. And the fact that he does have a whatever measure of celebrity attached to this, absolutely exploit that. You can, and on all fronts, there's nothing wrong with being a little greedy and monetizing this the best you can, but at the same time, it can absolutely coincide with you as an artist and letting people see your work and your expression out there too. So we may circle back, Tisa, but I don't want to totally exclude Mr. Foster jumping around here. If he'd only sit still for a second, he's like a minion Tweety bird with his yellow shirt. Very cute, don't get me wrong. Again, we're dealing with a lot of new technology here, so this background stuff, you can see on mine, I'm a little fidgety, jittery. But Steven, so tell us about your music video a little bit.
My music video, Dream Vacation, of course, Chuck wrote the music and lyrics, and it was a song on his album called Flight Times. And I was just in between projects, and I just said, I'm gonna make a video of your song. And I found all these amazing, my life is filled with so much synchronicity. And the site sent me this this like free downloads of clips, and I said, I can make a video of Chuck's song with all these clips, because I wanted to be a celebration of vacations, because Chuck and I, through our film festivals, through Fernando and through all of the film festivals, we've got to travel a lot. And that's how we've done a lot of our vacations, is through film festivals and through our work. And so I got an editor, Justin Basil, and I sort of wrote out what I wanted this video to look like. And I put together all the components, and he edited it. And that's how it came about. It was a lot of of me just writing out notes of this is what I want to see and this is what I want. And so that's how I created it. And I love it because it's a celebration of vacation and travel. And I think it's timely now, to what people are going through. They want to have a vacation now, even though a lot of people have like been quarantined and taken a lot of time off their normal routine. It's not been a vacation for people, and I myself really am itching to travel again.
In watching it again for the third, fourth, fifth time at your screening, I would add to that too. It wasn't just about vacationing. There's a lot about having your partner and a little bit of love and romance mixed in there as a major component, not even a sideline. As far as it's not just vacationing, but it's the I don't want to read into it, but there's being with the person you love is also vacation into itself every day, let alone it's just on fire when you're going somewhere you haven't been before or outside of your home.
Well, Fernando,
region.
that is right, because one of the main lyrics is of the song is it's a dream vacation as long as I'm with you. And I wanted it to have a romantic
right, exactly,
coupling feel of people. I didn't want it to be about children and like family vacations, because that's a different dynamic. What Chuck and I, when we travel, that's our intimate time. That's our time to get away from the of Hollywood, basically, where we live and where everything is like constant work. And when we travel, we get to do things that we absolutely love and that are private to us. And I sort of wanted the video to have that kind of romantic feel of how much you can fall in love on a vacation or a trip.
I see you nodding your head down there, Tisa. Would you concur? You're now. I don't know what I'm sure there's a term for it, because you are now in Utah. You are a native, born and bred, or just it's in your blood. You're in New York. So I know what's it. We have another silent New Yorker I see in the side here, Cora, who's chatting with us on the side. But would you concur with what Steven's saying? Do you feel like you're on vacation now, just like a never-ending one? You're out in a foreign land of Utah.
I have an average like attention. Like I like to be someplace for like 4 years, and then I like to move. I probably should be careful because I'm like at the point of, I love to pick up and start over. I love to move. I mean, I've lived all over the country. And do I feel like I'm on vacation?
Okay.
Sometimes when I'm like, I can really just get lost in the moment and not like be stressing about something. And I look around, there's palm trees and a pool in my, in the back.
Mm-hmm.
But, that depends on the workload and the day. But,
well, I mean, yeah, I dig it. I know when I lived in LA, it was like just, even though I was working, it was doing fun stuff. I was working for Marvel comic books, coloring comics, and just doing fun stuff like that. But yeah, it felt like I was essentially on vacation. Side note, you might find interesting then, it's been a while, so I don't think it's urban legend, but a part of the Hindu culture is at the age of 50, people change their names entirely. It's kind of a rebirth. And if you think of the psychology behind that, you walk around an entirely brand new name as you introduce yourself to new people or what have you. But I don't know, just it's kind of a tangent thought. I got you're stroking your chin, Stephen. Are you thinking about changing your name?
No, I'm not 50 yet, but I was wondering what your name changed.
Well, what are you saying, Stephen? Well, fantastic. Are there any any other comments you want to let people know about your music video, Stephen? I mean, it is a music video, so you don't, again, we don't want to read too much into it. You know, it is what it is, and well done. What was this a labor of love? Where's the needle go? Is this more of a labor of love for you? Just you had a passion to put this out there and express it, show it to the world, or were there commercial undercurrents underneath it?
Well, both. Uh, it was Chuck's. It's part of Chuck's canon of songs, which I'm very passionate about. I think Chuck's one of the best songwriters ever. And part of what we're doing with our film That's Opportunity Knocking and with our scripts is we have a collective body of work, and I did want to create something for Chuck's album that was fun and entertaining and to draw more people to his song. So it was commercial, but it's also a huge labor of love because I love that song. And, you know, Chuck works at Princess Cruises and he wrote it he gets to travel all around the world on Princess Cruises when he goes out to teach these singers these songs in the shows. And he wrote it while he was out on a beach somewhere missing me because, you know, that to him is not a vacation. And, you know, when people hear that he works on Princess Cruises, they go, oh, that's such a wonderful thing. You get to be on the ship. And it's not because I'm not there. So that sort of was the impetus to write the song. And so, you know, there's a lot of our love and our relationship in that song, as well as it being a commercial entity as well. Okay. We have a little bit of time. Our next screening starts in about 21 minutes or so. So I want to make sure that we leave some time to both of you. Since we're still speaking with you, Stephen, I'll start with you as far as where it could be either or both. What do you plan on doing with the music video now, as far as like more festival runs, put it out there, or either or, what are your projects going on right now that you want to let everybody know about? I think the video is going to just exist, and I'll continue to submit it to film festivals. Chuck and I are working on our next short. I've actually, during the quarantine, have taken the time to dig out some of my old screenplays and submit those to festivals. And I actually just won my first award for My Missing Year at a film festival, and that actually got my heart beating a little bit because I've been a writer for a long time. It's the first award I've ever won as a writer, and wow. I've been nominated and all that, but that sort of made my heart flutter because I have been a writer for a very long time, and Chuck and I have been creative in the theatrical field out in Los Angeles for many, many years. And it's only through film festivals like Nova and all the film festivals that we've been in that we've actually have had some success. So we're actually just continuing on the film festival circuit and putting our work out there. And so that's sort of what we're trying to do is we're just trying to get more of our work out there in the TV and film world and to move away from doing theater. And we do have a project coming up called Little Johnny Dickens Show, which we wrote. And that's actually going to be coming out of Lowell, Massachusetts. And we actually got the script to them and they're going to film it. And so you never know where creativity is going to go and who's going to open the door. It might be in Hollywood, or it may be in Lowell, it may be in DC where Fernando is. I mean, we've had such great success with Fernando and the film festivals it's been a boom for us, actually. Well, continue to let us know how we can help with that, and break a leg. March forward, man.
like I just mentioned with Tisa, I'm really looking forward to see how you guys just march on and achieve and be very successful. So awesome.
Congratulations on winning
Oh,
contest.
Yes,
thank you. It was
congratulations.
very dear. It was very dear to my heart, and and I'm known as being a comedian. So the fact that it was actually a drama was actually kind of rewarding for me, because it means I have another side of my work, which that's always great to know.
Yeah.
Well, I do believe that same screenplay is nominated for the Nova Fest as well, and results will be posted and announced at the award ceremony on Saturday night, where passes are still available. Just saying, you can get it at our website. Shameless,
I've got
shameless, shameless.
ticket.
Speaking of shameless,
I've got
go
my
ahead.
golden ticket. I've
What was
got my
that?
golden ticket.
Perfect. And so with that, also, we want to we started with you, Tisa, and we're going to close with you. Future, where are you right now? Future with this project and any hopefully other projects on deck for you.
Well, as we discussed, I'm still in the last stage, so I imagine that I'll focus a bit on that. I'll continue to take more photography because I do enjoy that, and then I'm gonna shift a little bit to this new service called Legacy that I came up with, Old Soul Production. It's just a service to people who want to leave a legacy behind. It's like a mini doc that their children or to anyone really, and also for people that have already passed on if they want me to make those. So that's kind of something that I'm focusing on because I have a lot of experience in doing post-death films actually.
I love that idea. Just again, the technologies are there. You can make like very epic feature film quality productions about loved ones. That's really cool. Yeah, much support and respect for that. You sure you're known as being you're known as being a comedian, Stephen? Just out of curiosity over there.
I wouldn't say
Wow,
I'm known. I would
is
say
that
that's what I do best.
I would say infamous. Sorry, old Three Amigos quote. So is that something that's already launched now, Tisa, or it's in development?
Yeah,
Or has been for a while? It's just getting around. And what is
yeah,
that website?
I have on my website. Oldsoulproductions.org. I just changed it, so that's what it is now. Yeah, and you can. There's a whole page on it with like a little commercial for it.
Okay, docs can be tough to get out there, and trust me, I know. So many have been submitted to us over the years. Are you right now? You're looking for a lot of what's what I'm looking for? Just not feedback, but it's like putting out college applications, getting information on whether or not you've been accepted into them. Is that where you are right now as well, or are you at the beginning, middle, run? Yeah. Are people going to continue to be able to enjoy you?
Yeah, I'm at like the beginning of the run, I think. I mean, I at some point I ran out of money, to be honest with you. So I mean, there's only so many I could submit to, but I do have a bunch that I'm waiting to hear back from. And then, I did get accepted to Alberta and Doc Utah, and then
awesome.
There's one I'm excited about. I'm not allowed to mention yet, but it's a
then don't do it.
I won't, but I am excited because it's overseas and
Yay.
really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, there are some cool benefits out of this whole pandemic thing that we've had to adapt to, but at the same time, there's just no way to replace that magic of the three of us or more being in a face-to-face situation at I mentioned this, I think the other day, where if we're in a lounge or again in the theater, and then you and Steven break out to a local pub or bar, and then all of a sudden you start talking shop, and then all of a sudden you're collaborating, and all of a sudden you're in a Berlin castle, Steven, and you guys are shooting something together, because it has happened before. And that's what the thrill is for me. You can't monetize that, at all. I'm going to check real quick. I see chats just to make sure that you guys are just talking to each other.
Where's
no other
Joey
questions? Okay, you guys are just being nice.
And Michael?
You're gonna have to. Those are two other Nova alums who had some had their music video screens in your block, both of your blocks today as well. I have no idea. And they're like Bill Murray; they just pop up, and when you don't expect them to, and when you expect them to, they're not there. So, make sure you give them a good brow beating later. But again, yeah, that's the thing. What we're missing out is the camaraderie. They're Steven's mentioning them like old friends, and they are over the years. But that's what we're missing as far as an event lasting like we do over a week, if not 10 days. You start to develop. It's like summer camp. And I hope that that's something we can still try to take a piece out of, because the key to summer camp is that when you go back home, it's not just this cool memory or dream from the past, but you keep those connections and lessons learned, and you start applying them. That's what's going to separate you from everybody else, and something that's very, very difficult to be successful at. Any final comments from either of you that you want to let people know about? Again, a website, a project, anything. Now is the time.
There's nothing better than summer camp. There really is. I love them.
Well, the cool thing is,
Steven, what about you?
with film festivals, you get a little taste of it again. You're meeting new people for the first time, and you have the same. You're there for the same reasons. And I think I mentioned it to you in an email once, Tisa, where in the Q&As, you will basically be confronted by a perfect stranger with the only connection being your film. And that's just so cool. They saw it, they enjoyed it, you obviously produced it, and then you start talking to a perfect stranger, and all of a sudden you're on the same page about something. But again, so many other things. It becomes a brand new experience, brand new friends, but at the same time, it's a reunion for people who come back every 2 or 3 years. And we have a great space out in Fairfax at the Angelica. And shameless plug, we are branching out in a big way. Within the next 2 years, we're producing 10 new film festivals, 10, 5 across the country at theaters. 3 of them are at Angelica theaters, and 2 of them are at Silver Spot theaters. Which, again, it's one thing for me to say, but Steven, if to actually be in that space, to walk in these really, really awesome theaters, it's totally different. And again, they're all in some kind of town center environment with lots of restaurants and cool shops and bars and so on and so forth, to really get a feel for being on vacation. How's that?
Well, I will add, Fernando, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Our first out of town film festival was Go West up in Fresno, and that's how we met Fernando for the first time. So our first out of town film festival was Fernando's, and it took us all over the world. But that's opportunity knocking.
Funny how that happens, huh? Which, by the way, it has now been renamed to take over all the Southern California. It's now the Southern California International Film Festival, which will be taking place in San Diego at the Angelica down there as soon as they open the doors someday. Soon, I hope. But then you also the DC Film Festival you flew out to as well. So we had you flying all over the country.
Well, I flew out to that one at the end of AOF, Action on Film. I left the award ceremony to fly to that festival, and I stayed at that little college, that little deaf college there, which was right across.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, I remember asking you, what's that like staying in a deaf college? Your immediate response was, it's so quiet. I don't know if I was supposed to laugh at that or not, but it just, you caught me off guard.
That's my humor.
Oh, I hope you know that guy.
Oh,
Okay. Well, I'm going to wrap things up. Thank you two so much for making the time. As I mentioned, Tisa, this will be recorded and I will send you a copy of it. Oh, we have an appearance by Chuck.
You're
Good to see
wrapping
you.
up. That's fine. I'm so sorry. I was on a Zoom call and I was trying to get off of it. I just wanted to make an appearance.
Okay, well, I'm glad you were able to get off that weird platform to get on this one. And by the way, this is Tisa down there. That's Chuck. Make a quick intro.
Hi.
he's my boyfriend.
I saw your film. You're the director of the film. Great film. I'm sorry, Fernando. I'm hijacking your ending. I just want to tell you, really enjoyed the film.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
And I love the video.
and yeah, not to poo-poo again, but gosh darn it, that's what we're missing in the face-to-face. You'd be around at least a good handful of people, if not 50 or 60, and just yap, and end it with it would be it's an adult summer camp, so you feel like a kid again, talking about art, the film arts. So cool, so awesome. Okay, well, I'll wrap things up, and we still have, where we were Wednesday, we have one more screening in about 6 more minutes. It's a feature film, and I forgot, there's something opening. It's escaped my memory at the moment. We still have 2 more. Thursday, we're really bringing some really more bigger production value, mainstream pleaser films, so please check it out. Unless you get a VIP pass, which you can watch anything anytime. And if you missed either of these individuals, filmmaker, artists, productions, you can still buy a 1-day video on demand pass to be able to watch any of them for the rest of the festival, which ends on the 18th. So hopefully I will still correspond with you again this weekend, Tisa. Please let you know, as you've seen, I am at your disposal to help you out, and I really want you to be successful, sincerely. So please let me know how I can continue helping.
I feel bad.
No, this is
I've given you like a part-time.
This is what I'm here for, and you're what I'm here for. So we talk about what beyond the monetization of it is. This is what gets me the thrill, helping artists and just watching them achieve, be successful. And then when Steven gets his Academy Award, I better be the first damn name that you put out there. Just saying. No, you're muted. You can keep talking all you want, but you're muted, Steven.
Oh.
And you're still muted. Okay. Oh no, now you're not muted. Okay, we're gonna wrap up. Thank you, all 3 of you, very so much, Cora, for being in the stands there, and we're gonna catch up later. Continued success, and please enjoy the rest of the festival.
Thanks,
Take care.
Thank you so much. Bye.